What up, guys? This is your boy DZD, aka the Drain Kang, Purple World Entertainment, live from the Dungeon Palace Studios with another MPC tip. In this video, guys, I'm going to show you how to use submixes to kind of clear up your frequencies in your beats. That way your low-end frequency sets well, your kick drum sets nice, and it takes all of the other drum sounds out of the way, and it lets those low-end instruments breathe really nice. This submix feature was just a recent update in the MPC software, and it works out very good for just this trick. But before we get into the video, guys, make sure you smash that subscribe button and also smash that bell notification. That way you guys can get updated every single time I post videos just like this one. So without saying too much, let's take it to the MPC software and let me show you the submix trick. Check it out. All right, guys, we are live inside the MPC software, and I'm gonna let you hear this beat that I cooked up real quick just for the purposes of this tutorial, just so I can show you how to use these submixes to kind of clear up your frequencies a bit. So the beat consists of just really 4 tracks. The drum track, I have a piano melody track, and then I have a synth track, and then I have an 808 track. That's pretty much the whole entire beat. Okay, now this is the drum track here. And let's say that you created your drum track, you got the drum track running. All right, and then you put your instruments on. You know, you got your instruments running. Okay, and then you drop your 808 on the track. Now, right about that time is where I start to do a little bit of static mixing. I start to clear out my piano melody. Like if we go here to the piano melody, I have my EQ. I cleared out the low end to make space for the 808. I dropped off a bit of the high end. And then if we go to the synth track as well, let's go to the synth track. I have an EQ on that as well. Did the same thing, cut out a little bit more of the low end and the mid end, and then dropped off a bit of the high end. Same exact thing. This is about the time that I start getting a static mix together. What I call a static mix is it's the mix before the mix. I mix my sounds in my DAW. I mix the full beat in my DAW. Export all of the stems out, mix in my DAW. But what I do in the MPC software is get a nice, good static mix going. That way, all of my sounds fit, and I can hear everything well, just in case I want to put something else in or I want to take something else out. I can hear all the sounds nice. Now, I've EQ'd my 808. I've EQ'd that the best that I can, dropped off the low end, bumped it up a little bit, put a little bit of G clip on it just for a little bit of a boom effect. And then what I want to worry about now is just my drum track. So the way I clear up the space in the drum track and get my kick to set out is I use the submix feature. So let's pull up the mixer real quick. Okay. Now, for those of you who are familiar with the mixer, you guys know what you're looking at. I do all of my drums on one entire track, which is track 1. All of my drums are on that track. So when you look at the mixer here, these are all of my drum sounds right here. All of these tracks up here. Okay. And then this is the drum program where all of my tracks go to. All of my drum tracks. Here's where the trick comes in. We can use these submixes here. All of these submixes, this is a new feature in the MPC in the recent updates to where now we have submixes. All submixes do is allow you to route sounds out to a different channel so you can affect them in a totally different way. Or you can route it out to a different channel. That way you can create headphone submixes to where you can hear certain things only in your headphones that you don't want to hear. You can split different sounds out to where you can send sounds out to a headphone here. You can send some sounds out to a headphone there. So you can have different submixes. So right now, all of my drum sounds, if you notice, they're going to the program track. You have all of them say program here. So that means all of these drum sounds are going to this program right here. This track right here. That's my program track. See, program 1 right here. Okay. I want to take my kick drum out of this sound. And the reason why is because, remember, I'm trying to clear out some space on my kick drum. So if I was to just put an EQ on the whole entire track, let's do that. Let's go to our EQ, pull up an EQ, and we put it on the whole entire track, whole entire drum track. Let's play it. See, my kick drum is falling about right here. So if I was to try and clear anything up, I would be cutting out my kick drum. And that's not what I want to do. So how do I clear out the low end of all of these drums without touching my kick drum? That's what submixes come in. So we're going to leave this EQ here. We're going to leave it here on the full track because we're going to need that a bit later. Let's take our kick drum and we're going to run it. Instead of going to the drum program here, we're going to change this to SubMix 1. That means this submix here, this track right here, is where our kick drum will now play. Okay, our kick drum is now playing right there. So that means when we go back to our EQ on our drum track, on our drum program right here, this EQ and this drum pro is the same exact thing. So this is our EQ that we put on in the first, on the beginning. If we go back here, now no kick drum is coming through this frequency. It's now playing on the submix. So let's play it. See, if you notice, our submix is playing our kick drum and all the rest of the drum sounds on here. Now that we split the kick drum away from our drum program, we've sent the kick drum to a different track. Now we can affect just the low end of all of our other drums and leave the kick drum untouched. So let's do that. Let's clear up the low end. See, now the rest of my percussion instruments, the rest of my drum instruments are only affected by this EQ, not my kick drum. So that way I can keep the full blast of my kick drum going and just cut out the low end of just all of the other percussion sounds. I don't need any low end in a snare. I don't need any low end in a hi-hat. I don't need any of that. But sometimes those low end, when you start putting those drums on top of each other, all of your drum sounds, they have that low end, and the more drum sounds you put, the more percussion sounds you put in your drum track, that low end starts to build up. So that's the reason why your kick drum starts to clash with your 808. It's not because the 808 and the kick drum are fighting. It's just because you've made the kick drum so full with all the rest of your drum sounds and not cutting out that low frequency that now the kick drum starts to sound like the 808. Now they start to clash. Once we clear all of this low end out of our drum sounds, now our kick drum starts to sit nice in it. So let's take this EQ all the way down. That way you can see an exaggerated effect. We're literally going to wipe out all of our other drum sounds, but our kick drum is still going to be going. So literally you can now affect all of your drum sounds and leave your kick drum nice, clear, present, full, and not even have to worry about touching it. So just remember your submixes. It's a good way, and we have the kick drum that was playing here. We have the kick drum now running through our submix here, and you have a bunch of submixes down here. You have about 8 of them, and you can send whatever you want. You can send groups of instruments to one submix. You can send all of your instrument tracks to one submix, all your drum tracks to another submix. That way you can affect your instruments and your drums differently. You can use your submixes to send different sounds to different places. That way you can leave some sounds affected and some sounds untouched. So that's just a nice little trick so you guys can understand how to clear up that low end out of all of your drum sounds without touching the low end of your kick drum. You want the low end of your kick drum, you just don't want the low end of the other drum sounds that are in your mix. So this is a good way to clear up all of them all at once, just using submix. There you have it, guys. This is a really nice trick using the submix feature that helps your beats out a lot. You can send certain sounds to certain tracks. That way they're unaffected, and you can just affect certain sounds. That way you can clear out certain frequencies in your beat without touching certain frequencies. And now that you know this small tip, you can use it for a lot of high-end instruments as well, a lot of mid-end instruments. You know how to affect sounds without touching certain sounds in your mix. If you found any value in this video, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button, and also drop me a comment below and let me know if using submixes works out for you guys as well. That's my time, guys. This is your boy DZD, aka the Drink Kang, Purple World Entertainment, live from the Dungeon Palace Studios, and I will check you guys in the next video. Peace out.